Oh, yes. Welcome to the Gov Shack. So happy to have you guys with me. A little bit past 7 p.m. on the East Coast. And a lot of stuff going on, as you know, with the campaign, trying our best to focus on the number one thing in our campaign, which, of course, is petitions. Yes, indeed. Petitions, petitions, petitions. If you have not done so and you live in New York State, please get out there and get me some petitions to the best of your ability. I need lots of them. As I mentioned, we need to have at least 7,000 by the end of this weekend. By Monday, that's a tall ask. It's a lot. It's a big ask, I know, but it's what we have to have. If we don't have that much, it's going to be a challenge. I think we can do it. It's going to take a lot of us out there working to make it happen, but it can do it. I got some yesterday. I've been doing mostly phone work today to get more people back on board. So hopefully we'll make that happen. So please get out there and do it if you can. If you're not in New York, I know it may be challenging for you, but you remember you can promote any way you like to get the signatures, but to actually witness a signature and to sign, you must be a New York State registered Republican to do so. But again, if you're not a registered Republican, you can hold a sign, ask people to come by, promote it online. Lots of things you may do legally, but totally legal. So please don't be concerned about that. It is but to sign and to witness, you must be a registered Republican. And of course, go to LarrySharpe.com and check that out. Get down so you can download the petitions and some possible scripts and some rules and regulations on how to make it happen. So as many as we can. We got to break the 7,000 mark by Monday. I checked yesterday. We hadn't had 1,000 yet. So we're behind. So we got to hustle up. So not scary, just challenging. So we got to make sure that happens. So guys, please jump on board to the best of your ability. It does matter tremendously to make that happen so we can get into this primary, and not just to get in the primary. While that's important, the number one thing is once we're in the primary, that's when people go, holy crap, it's real. When that happens, that's when the press starts showing up. That's when the money starts showing up. That's when everything starts showing up. So let's be real. It is hardest thing for those of you who know, anyone who's ever independent. The independent candidates, the rebel candidates always have the same problem. Are you legitimate? And they assume you're not because you're not backed by the party apparatus. So you're not legitimate. Well, you have to fix that. And petitioning helps that. So guys, if you can, please jump on board. It does matter tremendously. I know I'm bugging you about it, but I'm bugging you because it matters. So I wanted to bring up something today that I think is important around the entire country. New York too. And that's gas prices. Why gas prices? Because so much is going on, and we're talking about so many different things. And here, Trump said this, and Hochul said that, and Mamdani said this, and we're fighting in New York City over Mamdani's house, and all these things. But does it come down? And this is an open question for you guys to talk this out here with me. Does it always come down to what James Carville said back in the 90s? It's the economy, stupid. Is it really that? And a part of me, I always hear saying yes, right? Yes, but then a part of me goes, it's got to be something more than that, right? But it does matter, right? Because I say all the time, it matters. But I feel sometimes like we don't want to accept it, and we just almost go into denial. And we're so concerned about other guy losing, we don't care if we win. And this is what I mean by that is, all right, because I hate Republicans or I hate Democrats so much, I hate the other guy so much that I don't care if I win. I'm at the other guy to lose. So Democrats across this state will go, well, the Republicans is just so evil, so I got to vote against them. Yeah, but Democrats are destroying the state. Literally, your kid can't read. Literally, your family's leaving. Yeah, but the Republicans got to lose. Is that real? Or they go, yeah, you're right. I would like my kid to read, and I'd like to not have to leave. That's a question. I think it's an important one. Let me show you what's going on with the gas prices, because there's another piece with it. Right now with the gas prices, it's not obvious or clear what's happening, which is the other issue. And it's also not obvious or clear exactly why it's happening. Both of those things are a problem. So does someone else get the blame? I want to bring this piece up if I could.
Reversal day that we had. If you looked at yesterday, late afternoon into the evening, you were thinking, okay, it was going to be a deep, deep red day. And even in the morning, it was looking like that. I mean, oil futures hitting about 119 a barrel at the top. And then all of a sudden a reversal came, and not just a little 5% correction, 10%. What about more than 30% correction here? We want to talk all
For
about.
those you don't know, the gas prices shot up and then came down. Shot up and then came down. So is it because Trump said something cool? Is it because somebody knew? People are saying as well because Trump addressed it. Is that right? Is it not? I thought the Straits of Hormuz are closed. Is there some deal we don't know about? The issue that I think has plagued Trump is this idea of instability. Not that I want gas prices to go up. I don't. But if they can, at least if you know it, you can then prep for it. Go, okay, they're going to go up. Here's what I do as a business. Here's how I handle it. Here's what I do. But if they're going to go up and then come down, then go up, come. Oh, my God. I hope that's not the case.
This. It's a truly fascinating day. Let's bring in our next guest to help break it all down. Denton Zinquigrana, great to have you on with Oil Price Information Service. And we were talking at the break, what a fascinating day this has been.
And this volatility means a lot of traders can make a lot of money. It does, particularly if they have some inside information. Right? They know, oh, it's going up and then it's coming back down and blah, blah, blah. Well, great. So they can buy right now as much as they possibly can. Then it goes up and they sell. And then they short it for when it goes back down again. And they make money on the up and they make money on the down. They make money on the down, both.
Yeah, it really has, Mike. And like you described, that's exactly what it was. You know, you see when the market opens last night, you're like, all right, $100, here we are. Then it just keeps going, gets up to almost $120 for both WTI and Brent. You know, you get back to the desk in the morning, you're still over $100, you know, 105, 106. And then the floor just dropped this afternoon. Now we're for WTI, we're back in the 80s now, high 80s. I don't think we're out of the woods just yet, but man.
And that's the problem. I don't think we're out of the woods just yet. Yeah. James says, Trump is manipulating on purpose. The war is over soon. It's very complete. Boom, prices drop. I don't think you're wrong. The question is, does he know what he's doing, or does someone else know what he's doing, if you know what I'm saying? In other words, is Trump actually going, I want to make this happen, or are other people trying to manipulate the words and what he's saying? Here's my worry about Trump. I always worry when he's not out with the people. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. When Trump is not out with the people, I always worry, because that's when I think he's getting insulated and the neocons have him. And when that happens, I think he makes bad decisions. I think that's what I am. That's what I always worry about, that's what he's doing versus him when he's out with the people and hearing stuff. And I think he's been insulated again. And what I mean by that, James, is Trump actually doing this? Is him, or are people manipulating what he's hearing? So he goes, oh, well, then that's the thing. And then he says the thing and they go, oh, whoo, did I make a killing? Thanks for that. Made a killing. Is that happening? Maybe. This part, I don't know. I don't like it when Trump is not out with people. He makes his worst decisions when he's surrounded by a bunch of establishment. The more he's in the swamp, the worse he is. And if you like Trump or not, I think you would agree that's true. The more he's in the swamp, the more he's affected by it. I think it's just human nature. So, yeah. Shelly says, I've been given some money. Oh, to give to people. Now, okay, to be forward, Shelly, you are not supposed to legally give people money to give to me. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying just so you know, legally, you're not supposed to be doing that. That's all. So, yes. All right. Shelly says, the person I asked to help me with this task is a conservative from Greene County. The Greene County conservatives support Larry. True. Now, any Republican to verify signatures. Yes, this is true. There are a lot of conservatives across the state who support me. That's true. Sadly, the chair of the Conservative Party of New York does not. That's the sad part. But there are lots of them who actually do. So, yes, that's true. If you have any, please do that. Yes, 100%. So, all right. Nosy says, we get to meet Carpinelli tonight. We don't, Nosy. Sorry. I had to change that. He had Carpinelli has a family issue that he needs to deal with, so he had to cancel. So I apologize for that. I love Mike, but to be very forward, family comes first. I get that completely. I have a family. His family comes first. So he has an issue. He has to deal with it. So there we go. I appreciate that. So we'll make it happen again another time. he had to deal with that. That's what matters. Nosy says, Sharpe had a nice ring to it. I like that. Yes, I like that. That's great. That's pretty good. Sharpe. I like that. Yes. There we go. All righty. Let's see here. Shelley says, I'm in the Capital District if any Republicans want to verify signatures for me. Well, hey, you know who's in the Capital Area District also? There's a guy named Phil who's in that area. He might know somebody. So, yes. Lunatic says, so I'm hearing an ID was deployed to Mayor Mamdani by a couple of small hats. True, false? I don't think they were small hats. Were they? I don't think so. Maybe, but they were definitely, here's what I would say. The people who actually deployed the ID were actually on Mamdani's side. So I don't think they were, but I think they might have been. I don't know details, but I don't think so. They were people who were on Mamdani's side. The problem is, and what you're hearing is, I did a show on it today, is the media is purposefully, most of the media, not all of it, is purposefully just not explain details. So they're saying, well, there were protesters and counter protesters, and somebody used an IED, and evil white supremacy, and people hate Muslims, and boom. Oh, so it must have been them who did it. They didn't say that. They just made you feel like it was them who did it. In reality, it was the people supporting Mamdani who did it. So, yes. And that I know of, I mean, maybe it's changed, but last I checked, the cops have not done a full investigation to the ID to whether it was, it didn't work. The question is, they don't know yet. Last I checked it, they may have figured out by now whether it was purposely a dud to scare or they just screwed up. It didn't work. So we'll know. We either will know soon or already know, but they're going to figure out whether each one was done. I don't know. It might have been just to scare them, right? It was a dud and they were trying to scare everybody to run, or it might have been real and they just screwed up. So either way. So, all righty. Let's see here. Phil says, Lunatic, the story you're thinking about, it was Muslims who made the device go against anti-Mamdani protesters. True. He is correct. Yes. Lunatic goes on to say, I just saw the mainstream media news ensemble that we have a short strain for long-term gain. Oh, yes. Short-term pain for long-term gain. Yeah, that's what it is. Look, that's often true. This isn't one of those times, brother. That can be true. This ain't one of those times. That's for sure. It's not. Yeah. Mass Manau says, oil was $60 in that barrel before Trump decided to fight Israel's war. That's actually funny. My biggest issue, Mashman, is the volatility, right? That's the biggest issue. And the reason why is if any president were to fight a war, whether it's Trump or Biden or Obama or Clinton or Bush, whatever, if they're going to fight a war, there's a chance that the price of oil will go up. Yes, regardless if you're going to go fight a war, could happen. Biden emptied the reserves to try to keep the prices down. I understand that logic. I do. I think most presidents would have done that. I get it. However, there's a big however here, and that is the volatility. If I know that it's going to happen, at least I can react, right? I can react. I can sell things, take loans out, change my pricing. I can do things to survive it. When it's volatile, that's when the only people who win are speculators, right? And the average person, again, fails, but speculators win. And that's a problem. So, yes. All righty. Let's see here. Rona says, I had a blast of the night on the game show chat. Plus 100 to Larry because he's still trying to beat Spike. Oh, good. Look, if I'm going to get beat, let it be by Spike. If I'm going to get beat, let it be by Spike. That's fine. I accept. I will take it. Yes. So, all right. Rick Boss says, the world's always been a mess. Yes. However, the damage being done was not always as catastrophic. Right. So very often local people did bad local things. The whole world didn't trash. So, yes. Phil says, it's a little longer intro. Let me know what you think. The intro is a bit longer. The intro usually is about 25 seconds, give or take. This one's about 45 seconds. So there we go. If you're interested, you can let us know if you like it or not. So, yes. Bronna says, I just want to let you know, Larry, I've been joining New York Facebook groups to flood your name. They're a bit slow to respond, but I'm trying, bro. Every bit counts, man. I appreciate it. I really do. I know some people think that, what can I do? I can only get, whatever, 5 signatures, or I can only post your name 3 times, whatever. The more people do it, the better. And as all of you know, this tipping point. And I'll give you the example of a tipping point in polling. We know this from the 90s when Jesse Ventura was running for governor of Minnesota, and he won. He's the last independent governor to win in New York, in the country. That was 96, I think. I think it was 96. It was the 90s. I think it was 96, maybe 94. Anyway, he won in Minnesota. Polling for most people who are rebellion or independent candidates, whatever they get at the end, if they're polling, is usually about half. So if you poll at 10%, you actually get 5%. Why? Because while people are excited, oh, I like Larry, he's great. Then they go into the poll and go, oh, but my guy might win, or my guy might lose, or that person might, and they go back to their old ways. About half people do. And that's pretty much consistent. It's not a 100% rule, but it's good 90% rule. So you'll get about half. So if I poll at 10%, I get 5. However, there is a number to where the people go, no, he can win. Like, he's going to win this thing. I'm going to vote for him. And that percentage becomes real. We don't know exactly the number, but it's around 25 to 30% in that area. So, for example, if I poll at 22%, which is amazing, I'm only going to get 11. I'm going to get half. But if I poll at 25%, 27%, oh, no, that's real. I'm going to get 25, 27%. Once you get to that level, you're real. Media picks you up. Oh, my God, he's real. Everyone picks you up. Oh, my God, he's real. Money comes in. Oh, my God, he's real. And then it shoots up. And before you know it, now you're polling at 40% in a 3-way race. You're winning. 45%, 48% in a 2-way race. Now you end up winning. So, yes. So I appreciate it. So, yes, please don't stop. It is great. Yes, absolutely. Notice it says, I promote on Facebook, YouTube, and X each day. Must have like 150 likes on X today. Amazing. Thank you. Speaking of that, please click the like button. Shelly's correct. Please do so. Yes, absolutely. If you can, please do so. It does matter. Absolutely. So, yes, that's a wonderful thing. And, of course, if you can donate, please donate. We always want donations if we can. Of course, the simplest thing is also to just click the like button, as already said. And if you can volunteer, please volunteer. But some of you guys are already doing it. You're out there. You're already on SEAL Team Sharpe. I love it. Every single bit. The way we get into mainstream media is through social media. It's how it works. So please keep going. I do appreciate it. Absolutely. Every bit does count. It's why I keep coming on. It's why I keep saying it, right? It's why I keep coming on. It's why I keep saying it. John says, this week I'll be going to the Oswego County Legislative meeting this week, held in early afternoon while everyone's at work, coincidentally. And I'll be helping you and John McDermott. Oh, yes, I know him, for New York 22. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. And I'm going to add this piece. If you live in New York State and you know or can get a hold of, either through email or call or text or DM, any Republican leaders in New York State, whether they are assemblymen or whether they are state senators, whether they are Republican Party chairmen or chairs of the state, chairs of the counties, whatever they might be, local people, local legislators, please reach out. Please reach out and say, hey, I want Larry Sharpe in the primary. That's it. Just do that. Hey, I want Larry Sharpe in the primary. If they get 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 of those, 15 of those, and then their friends go, I got the same thing. Me too. Wow. Yes. That will pressure them. That will pressure them. That text, that email, that call, it matters. So you do. That's what I want. Do it. Don't stop them. We want it. Just do that. It will matter. So please, 100%. Nosy goes, getting the primary is the most important part right now. Yes, you are correct. It is 100%. So D says she likes the extended version. Okay. Well, there we go. John says the New York establishment hates natural gas and other forms of fossil fuels. It's absolutely apparent. Yes, and they're both sides, sadly. A lot of Republicans also hate a lot of Democrats. It's true. It's why I've been pushing nuclear energy. It's the one that they'll accept. It's the one they'll accept. They just don't want it. They really don't want to change it. It's true. You're right. I wish it wasn't. Here's the issue, right? Is that could you frack? Yes. But the problem is To frack in New York, you'd have to go against what people want now, which is why I'm not pro fracking, because I think if I remember right, there are 14 counties in New York State where you can frack. That would make sense. I think it's 14. It's 13, 14 in that area. I think 14. And I think all but one have already locally said, we don't want it. Well, what am I going to do? Force them? Now, do I think there should be a mandate or a moratorium at the state level? No. Let local people do as they see fit. That's what I always say. But for those people who are for fracking, most New Yorkers just don't want it. They've already voted no, like at a local level. I think there's one county that might have said yes to it. And if I was governor, that one county could do it if they wanted to. But there's only one rule on this to be forward. When it comes to fracking, some of you know this, some of you don't. Fracking companies hide behind intellectual property. And they say, well, I can't tell you what I'm putting into the ground. You go, why not? Well, because it's intellectual property and therefore it's protected, so I can't tell you. Okay, you can do that if you want to, but you can't frack them. People have to know what the repercussions. You have to have transparency. So they have to let people know what's going in the ground. It's not just water. There's a bunch of stuff they put into the ground. You got to know that. And then you make a decision. If they go, well, trust me, bro. No, trust me, bro. You must let people know what's going under their land. If they know and accept, fine. No worries. They can do so if they want to. If not, no. So, yes, I think you're right. Then that's how it works. So, any case. All righty. Andrew says, if the Republicans did care about affordability, you think they'd think twice before bombing a faraway country. Well, this is the issue. Republicans, in general, I think care tremendously about affordability. Do I think Republican leadership does? No. That's the problem. The leaders are like, it doesn't matter. The leaders are like, hey, we're in charge. We've gerrymandered everything the way we want, so we're good, which is a problem. The sad part is the average Republican voter gets hammered because leadership's like, yeah, whatevs. I agree. It's a problem. So, all righty. Andrew goes on to say, wait, what if it was for all of the oil all this time? What if it was all for the oil all this time? You know, I got to give Trump this. He often just says what he feels. Often, which people accept, even when he says crazy. They don't care. He says what it is. He's Trump. He's Trump. You hear it. So I think if it was only about the oil, he might just say it. He said about Venezuela. He's like, we took the oil. We got whatever, X million barrels, whatever. He's like, see, done. I think he'd say it. I don't think Biden would say it. I don't think Obama would say it. I don't think Bush would say it. I don't think any of them would say it. I think Trump would say it. I think, yeah, we're getting oil. And people are like, okay, we're doing it for oil. Okay. I think that's what happened. I don't think he would even bother to stop. I don't think so. Chad says, I wish I could help. I do like, comment, share. That matters. Yes. It'll start to turn people onto you, especially if they're from New York. That's great. Please keep doing that. Yes. Absolutely. Yes. That's great. 100%. So, all righty. Let's see here. D says, I can't talk gas prices with the MAGA echo chamber. I'm told I'm negative and a liberal. Was also told that they're willing to pay extra for the gas for the safety from Iran. You know, this piece, I actually understand that logic. I do. Let me get you where I'm saying. As I said earlier, if we're going to go to war, there might be higher gas prices, right? No matter what. The question is, how well are we communicating it? And what Trump has not been good at is his communication this year. And I said it before, and I think this is true. I think that when Trump got his mandate last year, I think he was like, I got a mandate. And he did. I know Democrats will say he didn't get a mandate. He absolutely did. That's Democratic cope. He actually had a mandate. He beat Kamala Harris in the popular vote. He won all 7 swing states. He absolutely got a mandate. That's absolutely true. I know Democrats will tell me I'm wrong. Sorry, Democrats. It's just true. He did get a mandate. I think he took that mandate and said, well, now I don't got to do anything now. I'm good. I can just talk now. And I can do what I want now because I have a mandate. I think he went too far. I think he didn't recognize how you still have to communicate things clearly. You still have to get the people on your side. You still got to go through all the stuff. Just because you got a mandate doesn't mean you do what you want. You still got to communicate to us. And I think he's not done well at that. And the question is it him or is it people around him? Doesn't matter. It's his responsibility. As you've heard me say about Biden, I don't know if what Biden did, if he was doing it or not. Who knows how much he knew? Who knows? Doesn't matter. It's his presidency. Biden's responsible for that terrible presidency. Whether he knew what he was doing or not is irrelevant. Well, I mean, maybe if you want to, deconstruct it matters. But for the point of responsibility, Biden's responsible. Whether it was the auto pen or not, he's responsible. Trump's responsible. If the communication's bad, whether it's him or whether it's, whatever. What's Stephen Miller, tell him whatever. Whoever it is, doesn't matter. He's responsible for the communication. And it has not been great at all. I know a lot of guys like Trump being forward. His communication has not been great at all. So yeah, if that's true, he has not communicated that well. So yes. All right. Massimo says, I almost had a panic attack because I thought they closed the Straits of Vermouth and I need a martini. Now more than ever. He got jokes. There we go. All right. Let's see here. I'll grab some more of these. Okay, you guys talking about the Are You Smarter Than a Politician show. It was a fun show, I agree. And by the way, I'll tell you a funny story. For those of you who watched that show last Friday, I was on it for a short period of time. It was Spike Cohen's kind of fundraiser for the entire Friday, which was good for him. I'm glad he raised some cash. Good for him. The issue is the show allows anyone to kind of like go back and forth here or there. The thing that I always do when I'm on is I'm always very chaotic and trying to make it more exciting whenever I'm on it. So I go on sometimes. This is my third time on it. I think third time. I always try to make it that way to make it interesting and fun. I give pushback. I don't always want to give the standardized libertarian answers. I try not to. And even if I'm messing with people, because I think it's fun. So yeah, I'm glad you guys enjoy it. It's definitely a good show. I do enjoy it. And it also gets people thinking, which I love that part. Right? Absolutely. All righty, you guys going back and forth a lot. I see this. Okay. Let me keep working on this. You have a lot of you guys going back and forth. I appreciate it. That's great. I appreciate the back and forth, guys. I'm happy you guys are here. All right. Michael says, from what I can gather, a lot of infrastructure that is used to transport oil through the strait is destroyed. Also, that UAE and Saudi Arabia crowd is furious with Trump. And when I even talked to I don't know what you went, that is. This is the problem that I think we have right now, Michael. That might all be true, and that might not be true. I don't know what the actual answer is right now. There is a part of me that believes it, and a part of me that's like, do I know? Right? They're saying that we right now have 7 or 8 casualties. Is that real? I don't know. How many wounded? How many have passed? I don't know. So I don't think we'll know for a while. It's similar to the Ukraine war. You have people saying there's millions dead. You people saying there's hundreds of thousands dead. We're not going to know for a long time. We're not going to know for at least another year with Ukraine, at least. Probably at least a couple of months before we know what happens here. So I'm not really sure. Here's the issue. I don't think this went as well as Trump had hoped. I don't think that. I think it did not go as well as he wanted. The question is, can Trump make a deal? Because I'm going to go back to my original question, which is, do gas prices matter? Yes. How much do they matter? Not crazy, but they matter a decent amount. Will people, to Dee's point, put up with higher gas prices to be safe or to do? Yeah, people will. They will. Depends on how much. Depends on how much it affects their life. How much do they have to strain and suffer to get that safety? And other part is, how scared do they feel? If, for example, after 9/11, New Yorkers, particularly Americans in general, but New Yorkers particularly, felt very afraid. We were ready to put up with almost anything. We were ready to put up with almost anything because we were so scared after that happened, right? How scared are Americans of Iranians doing stuff? If they're not that scared, gas prices are going to hammer them. If they are, they may not. But the one thing I always give Trump is he is a deal maker. Will he make a deal that will make the Iranian people happy? Will he make that deal? I don't know. Tell you the truth. I don't know. If anyone can, it's him. If he can make a deal in the next month or two, whatever the time period is, where the Iranian people are happy and satisfied, and the gas prices come back down, he's good. Well done, Trump, if that happens. Well done. If he can't, 2026 is going to be a tough year. That's all I'm saying. So now, are the UAE and Saudi Arabian people furious with Trump? Maybe, but doesn't matter. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. And why do I say that? Because they were also afraid of Turkey. As I've been mentioning for a year here about how Turkey is a player that people hardly ever talk about. They hardly ever talk about Turkey, and Turkey is a serious player. Turkey has outside of America, Turkey has the largest army in NATO. I'm not joking. Large military. The largest military in NATO, not excluding America, is Turkey. And they're experienced. They fight Kurds, they fight Armenians, and they fight Syrians. So they are the largest army outside of America in NATO. So the largest army in Europe. And they're experienced. They've been fighting. You don't come against them. You don't. Now, when the Ukrainians and Russians are done fighting, they will be the largest army in Europe and the most experienced. But they're still fighting, so they don't count. You can't pull them off. Which, again, I've been talking about why they want to fight in the Middle East now, because you can't get Ukrainians and Russians to fight because they're fighting each other. Not going to work. So, anyway, I hope that makes sense. So, all right. Chris says, what's the deal with the LP nominee? I don't know. The LP will do what the LP does. I don't care. We're not worried about that. We're worried about the Republican nomination. The LP will do what the LP does. Whatever that is. It's fine. John says, honestly, this feels like a repeat of the Bush administration. The further we sink into the Middle East, the more our fuel prices skyrocket. There is a some except, but okay, John, hold on. You mean Bush 1 or Bush 2? And either one of those, if you remember, they communicated far better. Bush Jr. went out of his way to pitch this war. Remember WMDs, Colin Powell is showing up. I mean, everything is going to happen. We got to he pushed everything, right? Bush Sr. pushed everything. Well, Bush Sr. was Colin Powell, right? Yeah. Anyway, people came up, right? They explained why, did press the whole deal. The coalition, the willing. This wasn't that at all. At all. Michael goes on to say, now all the G7 countries are releasing their oil reserves to keep oil from going to the moon. Well, yeah, there's the next problem, right? What happens when you release all your oil reserves and now you got to go fight a war? That ain't going to work. That's not going to work. Yes. Brona says small hats. Yes. Small round hats is what he means. That is a term used often to avoid YouTube censorship. That makes any sense, Bronner. That is a term often used in YouTube to avoid censorship. I know, I hate it. We have to always, because YouTube is basically decided that we're all children. It's decided that we're all children, and YouTube is our big daddy. We have to, or big mommy, whichever one you want to be. We have to talk like children and make up little words because we can't say certain bad words or YouTube gets rid of us. And with that in mind, yeah, Andrew says, Yamuk, cause yes. With that in mind, if you remember, the show on Friday night, Are You Smarter Than a Politician, got removed on YouTube. For those of you who are watching, went away. And I knew it went away right away. I was not surprised at all. I was texting with Dee at the time, and I was like, I took my shirt off, like, it's canceled. She's like, oh, no, it's fine. It's going to be on whatever, X, whatever. Guy shows up, the podium guy, and he's holding a golden painted Alpha Kilo 47. Alpha Kilo 47. It is a rifle of the salt type. So yes, and that right there, removed. Because we're children, Brunner. That's the reason why. Because YouTube thinks we're children, and if we see it, oh my God, we might die. That's the reason. So yes, absolutely. Okay, Brunner figured it out. There we go. Yeah, he did. Yeah, that's how it works. 100%. All right, in Iowa, HVAC says the gas prices jumped over a gallon. $1 for 1 gallon. Okay. I haven't watched much here in New York City. I should probably pay more attention. I should probably check more. Yes. All right. D says, since Shapiro is now in the chat, what's up with the distraction from his eyebrows? It's all I see on Twitter right now. He got some bushy eyebrows, doesn't he? I don't know why. I don't know why. Yeah. 99 says, Larry, my mother has the Republican voter list for her area, but she got it for another candidate years ago. Are they still giving you trouble with getting Republican roles? Always. Always. I'm not establishment. They have reasons, excuses. My team's tried. Always. So you got to basically just lie or something. So, yeah. Yeah. I'm looking over at Rumble. Americua says, I'm here to own my L for thinking Trump was saber rattling. Well, you know what's funny? You aren't alone. You are not alone. There are many of my friends here in New York City. They hate Trump. They hate him. Oh my God. They hate him. And when they say, how can people vote for Trump? I say a lot of people. Some people like Trump, dislike him. Some people are more conservative, like him. But there's two things. One, a lot of people just thought Harris was a terrible candidate, and she was. That's an accurate statement. And funny is, many of my Democrats will admit that. They'll be like, yeah, she was terrible. But they think Trump is evil and the worst person on the planet. So while they'll agree that Trump was that Harris was a terrible candidate, they go, but it wasn't Trump. That's how they think. And it's fine. Second piece I tell them is there are a lot of people who thought Trump was totally anti-war and would never do any of this. So you aren't alone. A lot of people thought that it would never happen. They were wrong. So, yes. Gibson says, why did you choose Mike as your running mate? And do you think he will help you win the Republican nomination? I actually asked Mike early on. I'm going to share a little inside information. I don't think it would bother him. I asked him early on. I've known him for about 8 years. We when he was running for governor in the past, I go by his county, Lewis County, often. Whenever I can, try to stop by, say hi. It's challenging. He's an active sheriff, so I knew him. And the thing that's special about Mike, there's many things that are special. I'll give you a couple that shine out to me. He is a law enforcement officer who is absolutely pro 2A. He has openly spoken about the Second Amendment, the value of it. He's open about New Yorkers having open carry. He's openly spoken about how he wants to loosen the Second Amendment laws in New York State, which is odd. It's like a judge who thinks the system's not good. He's a sheriff who's pro 2A. His people love him. If you know people in those counties, they love him. And he doesn't mind going against the rules, which I love. He's there he worries more about outcome than process, which can be challenging for a sheriff because law enforcement outcome's important. So that personality type mattered to me tremendously. So I asked him, and he actually initially told me no. He said he was out of it. He was very burned by how things went last time he ran. He was kind of out of it. He's like, I'm out. I asked him again afterwards, and he was like, yeah. So, and do I think he'll help me with the Republican nomination? Yes. He is very well respected throughout the Republican community, particularly upstate. And I wanted to make sure I had an upstate guy and a downstate guy. 2 city people, one is enough. One's enough. So I'm going to be very forward. I rarely talk law and order stuff. It's true, I don't. Law and order is not one of my big things. He is concerned about that. Obviously, he's a law enforcement officer. And those of you who know me, I like to have people who don't agree on everything in my ear all the time. And Mike and I don't agree on everything. We don't. And I told him that. I was like, it's fine. It's fine. I don't care. You got to be you. It's fine. As long as you're not openly insulting me, it's fine. I don't care at all. And if he wants to convince me to change my mind on things, it's fine too. I don't mind it at all. For those of you who know any of my teammates, same thing. My team tells me when they think I'm wrong. They try to convince me of things all the time. And I'm happy with that. I have people of all different stripes in my ear. I have one guy in my ear. Some of you may know who I'm talking about when I say it. I have one guy in my ear who was literally on the Mamdani campaign, and he's in my ear often. I think I understand how that side thinks. So yes, of course. Absolutely. So that's why I picked him. I'm very happy that I have him. I think I'm lucky I asked him twice. Got him on a second time. And also, yes, I think it will help you win the Republican nomination, and he's a good man. So being a good person is critical. You might go, but his policy has to be X, his policy has to be Y. True, but policies change depending upon the environment, sadly. We've seen that happen 1,000 times. The character of the person matters because at least that won't change. If that makes any sense. Oh, I'm sorry. Shouldn't change. Sometimes that changes too, but that shouldn't change. So I hope I answered your question. So, all right. I covered that piece. That was good. Mike has bad knees, goes on and says, I really thought he was as well. I'm cool. Yes, you're not alone. Brother, you are not alone. A lot of people thought that. I see it. A lot of people thought that. Dave Smith has gone the opposite way. He's like, impeach Trump. He's gone the opposite way. So yeah, I think it's true. Yep. All righty. Let's see here. I appreciate that. D says, Larry, that last call from the radio show today, was that guy trying to get you to trip up? Had to deal with voluntary communism. No. I don't think he was. I think he had a real question. I mean, maybe he was, but I don't mind. I take any question. For those who didn't see the show, at the end of the show today, my radio show, I was talking about how if people want to, in their own world, follow Sharia law, I don't care. It's up to you. Just no laws to enforce of other people. If you want to follow that, go ahead. Like the Amish have their own, ways of doing things. It's fine. If it's voluntary, you can leave. Do as you see fit. Don't force others. I don't care. And he said, what if you saw someone, stoning someone to death, something like that? And I said, no, I understand. It's a valid question. And my issue is, I also don't want it to break the law, right? If it's voluntary cultural things, go ahead. For example, you want to wear a certain garb, you want to act a certain way, you want to pray a certain type. That's all cultural things. Do as you see fit. You want to banish people from your community. That's cultural. Do as you see fit. But you want to decide to marry people or not marry because of the way they do. That's up to you. I disagree all day. But you want to physically harm people? You want to do things no. That's a no. But the reality of it is, the vast majority of Muslims in the country, they want to have a modified type thing like that. They don't actually want the harsh stuff. Many of them left the country because of the harshness. But if they bring it, that's got to stop. Nope. You can't do that. There is a line drawn, and it's the law of you can't harm people. It's that simple. So yes, I don't know if you're trying to trip me up, but it doesn't matter. I feel how I feel. Right? I feel how I feel. And for those of you who don't know this, there are a lot of people who are becoming more and more, what will I say, dogmatic. Maybe that's a better way of looking at it. Both Christians and Muslims and Jews, all are becoming more and more dogmatic. People are looking for an answer. They're looking for rules. They're looking for structure. And most people are falling back into where they come from. If you come from a Muslim culture, you come from a Jewish culture, you come from a Christian culture, they're coming back to that. There's a rise. I did a show on it maybe a couple of years back on how there's a rise in America in people becoming Orthodox Christians and becoming Catholics. It's a rise in it. People are converting because they feel like it has more structure and more rules. So if you come from that background, you probably go back to that. More people becoming more observant Jews, becoming more common, right? Hasidics are still growing. So yeah. So anyway, I maybe he was, but I didn't mind if he was. So yes. All righty. Let me grab some more of these if I can. D goes on to say, Spike only beat Larry by 1 point. So, I mean, maybe. We'll see. Maybe. Yes. Andrew says, as much as I want to sign a petition when it comes, I'm signing not a registered Republican. Is there another petition for independence? There will be. Yes. For those of you who don't know how this works, this petition is for the Republican primary, right? So that will go for another month or so. Then that'll be done. Again, we have to rush to get it. We've got to get about 7,000 by the end of this weekend, by Monday. We got about 7,000 by Monday for us to be on track again. And that's hard, I know, but it can be done. We're going to make that happen, right? So if we push it, we can be back on track. We have about 7,000 by Monday. So that's our push. So if you're not a registered Republican in New York State, you may not sign and you may not witness, but you can help. So you can, again, hold signs, tell people, point. All those things are totally fine. Hand the petition to them, whatever. Man a booth. These are all things you may do. You simply may not sign the petition and you may not witness it, but everything else you can do to help out. So feel free to do so. After that, you then there'll be another one that'll come up for me to get the Libertarian line. So that's a separate one you can sign. So feel free to sign for that if you want to. So yes. And can you sign them both? Yes, you can, because they have for two separate elections. So yes, for those of you who don't know, you absolutely may sign both of those because they're for two separate elections. The Republican signature signing is for the primary election, and the Libertarian Party one is for the general election. So there are two separate elections, so you may sign both. Now, if you're a registered Republican, you can sign both. If you're not a registered Republican, you may only sign one. So there we go, just so you're aware. So Ryan says, Ventura was 98. Okay, there we go, 98. I thought it was 96. There we go. Yeah, I knew it was 90s. 98 he won. There we go. All righty. Here. I'm looking at Mike over on Rumble, And Mike says, Eastern Orthodox is one of the fastest growing denominations. It is, of Christians. Right now, Islam is growing faster in America, believe it or not. Islam's growing faster in America. And it's not because of birth rate. Birth rate is one piece, but it's actually growing faster via conversion also. And surprisingly, women. More women are converting to Islam than men. I'm not making that up. That's how, and I'm talking America. More women are. And I think I know what it is. I think women are feeling unhappy. They're not finding the men they want to find. And they're feeling like they need something. And they feel like their current culture failed them in some way, shape, or form. So they're going to another culture, which is a Muslim culture. That's what I think is happening. So again, it's not a huge chunk, but by percentage it's high. If that makes any sense. So yeah, I think it's happening. People, look, I say this all the time. People need to have purpose. They need to have it. They need to have structure, goals, all those things. People need to be happy. Happy people don't want socialism. Happy people don't want authoritarianism. Happy people don't want fascism. So yeah, I get it. So Phil says, Larry, the Pink Pony Club, AKA the LPNY, votes for someone else, Lieutenant Governor. Any thoughts? It's fine. They can do what they want. I don't care. They can do what they want. They can do whatever they want. I'm not worried about that now. That will happen. We'll figure it out when the time comes. Not concerned at all. I've said all the time. Do you ever hear me ever tell you about how I'm so concerned about what the LP does? They do what they want. I'm not on the board. I'm not an executive. They'll do what they want to do. Good luck either way. That's all I'm saying. So, yes. All righty. Let me see here. HVAC says, if you are within the margin of error, people will stick with a third party. Yes, that's true also. Yes, if you can get that, I hope I can get that high. I want that ASAP. Yes, 100%. Absolutely, yes, that's true. So Missy says, please help petitions. Yes, LarrySharpe.com and just scroll down a little bit. It's on LarrySharpe.com. Scroll down a little bit and you will see it. It's right there, all three things. Download the form, rules for how to do it, and then a sample script for you. So yes, it's all there. Please jump on board, guys. It really does matter. Absolutely. Yes. So, all righty. Mike Has Bad Knees says, so Americula says, I like and I voted for Trump, but I never look at people in politics as perfect, and crap always changes. So your mind can and should too. Agreed. I'm not mad at the people who voted for Harris. I think she was a terrible candidate, but I understand why they did. I just disagree completely, but I get it. I understand. I'm not mad at them for it. I'm like, okay, you thought Orange Man was the evilest thing in the world and he was the Antichrist and you had to stop him. Okay. Maybe we can get you next time. That's all I'm saying. Maybe we can. And that's what I'm trying to. So yes, absolutely. All right. Let me see if I can go down here. All righty. Where am I here? I'm going to grab some more of this. Chad says LBNY. That's the Libertarian Party of New York, if that makes any sense. So, yes. Massman says fracking is way dirtier than nuclear. 100% true it is. And this is my point. I am not prepared to allow someone to frack if they won't be transparent. If you're transparent and you're okay with it, okay. I'm not mad at you. That's the issue. So, yes, that's the issue. So, yeah. Lunatic says, I'm a very angry human being right now. The issue with anger, and I bring this up often, I have a lot of it too. I don't always show it. But every once in a while when I get upset, you see it come out sometimes because I keep a lot of it in me. Because unless your anger is focused, it's often unhelpful. If it's focused, it can be very helpful. What was that thing from what was that saying? I'm going to get it wrong, but it's from Star Wars. The Emperor says it. Release, let the hate flow. It focuses you, or something like that, right? Release your anger. It focuses you, or something like that. If you are to take advantage of the dark side, you have to focus your anger. If you don't focus your anger, generally speaking, it will harm you. It will not be helpful if it's not focused. Generally speaking, anger can be good if one, focused, obviously, but second, if it is a stop-off point. So something happens, I am angry, I focus it to plan or to make the next thing happen, right? That's the issue. Do I use it to plan and make the next thing happen, or do I use it to lash out at those around me? Sadly, that's very common, lunatic, and that's not helpful, right? If someone just takes their anger and lashes at other people around, it is not healthy at all. And generally speaking, you wind up harming yourself. But if you can focus it and then make the next step, it can be better. It can be better than depression. Some people, when things go bad, go into depression. I tend to not go there. I mean, I get depressed too. I'm human like everybody else. But I tend to shift into anger, and then anger makes me plan. I would say two things. Fear and anger aren't by default bad. They're bad if you make decisions based upon them. Fear should make you think, right? So I'm going to jump out of an airplane. I should just go, I'm afraid to not do it. I should think, do I have a parachute on? Is the plane on fire? Oh, it's on fire. I got a parachute. I should jump out. Good idea. But fear made me think. Or is there no reason to jump out of this plane? I don't have a parachute. I'm just going to die. Okay, don't jump out of the plane. So either way, fear should make you think. I would say, lunatic, anger should also make you think. And generally speaking, the root of anger is two things. One, a perceived lack of respect, or two, a perceived lack of control. No, I use perceived. It may not be true. People may respect you, they may not, but if you don't feel respected, you get angry. If you don't feel in control, you get angry. So what is screaming and yelling? It's false control. That's what it is. I'm going to yell at you. I have control. You don't, because you're yelling, so you're not really in control. So it's fake control. It makes you feel like you're in control. I feel like I'm in charge. What's that saying from the third Batman movie when Bane touches the guy and goes, "Do you feel in charge?" He's like, right? So because he's yelling and screaming, he's like, "Well, Bane ain't yelling and screaming because Bane is in charge." So keep that piece in mind. When you are angry, ask yourself, why are you angry? Is there a lack of control? And it may not be self-control. It might be control of your environment. It could be self-control. You can get angry because of that too. Depends on the person, right? But I feel like you tend to have better self-control. And so you're probably not mad at that. But some people will be angry about they have lack of self-control. Could be that too. Or could be lack of control of your environment, your family, your work, the world, whatever, right? Could be lack of respect also. One of those two is lack of control, lack of respect. I often get angry because of lack of respect. That's my most common one. Generally speaking, people who I don't know or care about, I don't care if they respect me. I don't really care. It doesn't bother me. It's people who I know. When those people who I feel, who I've decided in my own mind that they should know me enough to respect me, when those people don't, that does bother me. That can get me angry. But when you see me on the show, someone I don't know, I don't care. You can disrespect me. I don't care. I don't care. But when people who are close to me that I have deemed, for whatever my reason I decide, I think should know me enough, then I can get angry. I'm like, you're supposed to know me. You're supposed to respect me, and you don't. Now I'm mad. That's kind of where my head goes. So anyway, I hope that was a good back and forth for those of you who are there. HVAC says, as for fracking in Oklahoma, salt water was going to the ground. In North Dakota, it's liquefied CO2. Thank you. This is my point. We have to know what it is and what the outcomes are. Otherwise, no, I'm not against the idea of you putting what you want in the ground, but you can't do it if you're going to be not going to be transparent. And a lot of companies were not doing it. Shelley says, fracking can set off faults. One of the largest faults runs from Herkimer to Montague through Connecticut. Oh, there we go. Yes. I didn't know that. So yes, there we go. Good to go. So, all right. Nate says, like, comment, share, and help petition. Contact Nate for training and docs. Yes. Contact Nate. Yes. Absolutely great. 100%. 100%. Yes. Absolutely. Massimo says, Larry assumes Trump's the one calling the shots. I don't. I agree. I don't. All right. Ryan says, I can tell you from personal experience, as I was a Republican from 1999 to 2013, Republican leadership at all levels is useless. I've watched it here in New York State for sure. I have watched what has surprised me the most as I've made this shift into more the Republican leadership is the cowardice. And I mean that. The leadership, the Republican activists in this state are braver and show more courage than Republican leadership. I'm not joking. The people who like the people who want the convention of states, those guys are hardcore. The people who are anti-vax or anti-man, those people are hardcore. They're brave. The leadership, they don't do anything. They run and cower. It's bad. I think you're right. The activists are braver than the leadership, and the average voter is braver than that. One of the reasons why I like Mike Carbonelli so much is because he's brave. He'll open his mouth. He'll say things. I think that's a critical piece. So, yeah, I see it constantly. That surprised me. Now, other parties have issues too. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to, but I don't care about those parties right now. I care about just mine. So, yes. All righty. Let's see here. Adam says, Larry, on your YSL, you promised me contact info for your local contact in Monroe County to get my... Oh, yes. Hold on. I asked you, if I remember right, I think I asked you to reach out to me on X. Did I not ask that? I thought I did. And did you do so? Maybe you did. I didn't see that. Please reach out and I'll respond to you, either through X or through Facebook, either one. Not my personal Larry Sharpe, but my campaign Larry Sharpe. Reach out to that and we'll get that information to you, either one. So yes, absolutely. All righty. Let's see if I can go down here. Let's see here. Lunatic says, fire all the federal government. Yeah. Yep. All righty. Let me grab some more of this if I can. Little Frog says, we got to get you elected into office. Nuclear energy is the most definitely, and maybe could follow through with getting the Constitution pipeline. Yes. Okay. This concept of being energy independent is a critical one, Little Frog. Energy is the answer. Localized ownership is the answer, right? That always is. And no one's talking about that. They're talking about, Hochul bad or more money to sell. It's not going to work. Not going to work. I agree. So D says, Larry, is a great time pushing back on that. Yes. Free knows it's going to be a good time when Larry's on. Yes, I do push back a lot because it's fun. The problem is, you have a lot of libertarians on, and you're asking obviously libertarian questions. So what you often get is just, let me give you a libertarian answer, which is nice, but I don't make it special. That's why I try it. Yes. There we go. All right. Mashman House says, I can't seem to find any current pictures of Tel Aviv. Well, yeah. Look, this is messier than I think they all thought. That's why now there's a third carrier going. Now, here's the problem with this. The third carrier is also just for scare tactics, hoping to stand them down. The reality is we figured this out. The carrier is now obsolete. It's obsolete. Fighter jets are obsolete. We lost 5 already. I'm not joking. We lost 5 already. Fighter jets are obsolete. The Ukraine, Russia, okay, I'm going to give you a little bit of a history lesson. When did trench warfare start? Most people think it started in World War I. It didn't. Trench warfare began in the Civil War, our Civil War. We started to dig in. That was when we began to do. We didn't have the deep trenches like trench warfare, but we began to dig in, setting up bunkers. That began in our Civil War. There were Europeans who were here watching and thought, silly. What about the machine gun? We think about the machine gun again being World War I. No. First started in the Russo-Japanese War. That's when it first started. And there were Europeans there too. They're not Europeans. They're not us. So they saw the origins of trench warfare in the 1860s. They saw the origins of the machine gun in 1903, 1904. That's when they saw it happen in the Russo-Japanese War, 1903, 1904. They saw it. So they knew this was a thing, but they said, but not us, because we're Europeans. We're different. We're special. We can use the old tactics. Those you don't know, in the beginnings of 1914, when the French army was mounting an assault against the Germans, there were units that were still wearing red pants. I'm not joking. You look it up. They were still wearing red pants. They were still getting in line and marching across the field in World War I. That still happened in the beginning of World War I. Yes, that still happened. They did not listen to what was happening. They did not pay attention. We've done exactly the same to the Ukraine war. The Ukraine-Russia war has already taught us, Mastermind. Already taught us. The fighter jet is obsolete, and the carrier is obsolete. If you've noticed what I've said when I've talked about our military, what I talk about all the time when it comes to the Navy, submarines, they are not obsolete. Submarines are not obsolete. Carriers are. We don't need them anymore. They can go away tomorrow. Don't need them. And we're building more of them. I don't know why. They're obsolete. They're huge targets. And the planes can't be used so they get shut down. The drones have changed everything. Drones have changed everything. The Russians have a Black Sea fleet. It can't come out because water drones, or whatever you would call them, naval drones, will destroy them. So, yeah. Anyway, so this didn't go as planned. And the other problem that Mike is talking about this. Mike Voss has been talking about this forever. The Iranians, Russians, Chinese, they have hypersonic missiles. We can't shoot them down. They're too fast. Some of them go at 3-4 times the speed of sound. I forgot how long that is. It's huge, whatever it is. Is it more? But it's multiple times the speed of sound. Hence hypersonic. You can't catch them. So, yeah. Anyway, we should have known this. So, anyway. All right. Mike Hasbeny says they were still doing cavalry charges in the First World War. Yes. Yes. They were still doing cavalry charges. True. They had movies about it. Of course. And then getting mowed down by machine guns. Crazy. Absolutely. So, Michael's on to say destroyers are not obsolete. True, destroyers are not. Missile cruisers and destroyers are not obsolete yet. The problem is, how do you defend the destroyer effectively against drones? You need to have a little bit better still anti-drone warfare. With the appropriate anti-drone warfare, destroyers are not obsolete, and missile cruisers are not, particularly because you can get a missile cruiser the right way to have a very small crew if you do it right. So where the missile cruiser is basically just, a massive drone with like 5 people on the whole thing. Crazy like that. So yes. Mike says hypersonic missiles are 5 or 6 times the speed of sound. Thank you. I knew it was more than 3. There we go. So Mike's paying attention. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. So yes, absolutely. All righty. Let me walk down. Sometimes I go down these military roads. I don't know why, but you guys ask, so I do it. So yeah. Anyway, James goes, the U.S. government is known for withholding real numbers of deaths to manage public opinion. Yes, that's what I'm saying. I am not sure that's going to work. Lunatic says, I am completely against the greater, yes, I call it Großen Israel. Yes. Look, here's my issue. If the Israelis would like to make that happen, they may, just not with my help and not my taxpayer dollars. Good luck. That may seem crazy to you or somebody else, but that's how I feel. Good luck. Not my children, not my blood, not my treasure. No. Yes. Absolutely. Bruno says the deal, in quote, Trump should make with Iran is simple. Leave them the hell alone. Yeah, I would have said that a while ago, but now you can't. That ship has sailed, brother. That ship has sailed. Now he has to make a deal to where it seems like he won and the Iranians won. And the advantage is Trump doesn't care. He wants to make a deal. He'll spin it. That's the thing that's great about it. He will just go, oh, no, I always wanted that. You're like, that's not what you, no, I always wanted that. You always, the whole time. We've always been at war with East Asia. I always wanted that. And people go, okay, he always wanted it. Well, Trump, you won. Yes, that's his skill set. He's good at that, Bron. That's one of his skill sets. So, yes. All righty. Nose says, if he's such a deal maker, why are the wars still going on? And I guess it's safe to say he made a deal with Israel to fire Iran. Maybe, right? Look, he's not perfect. I agree. He's not perfect at all. I agree. But it took 20 years to get out of Afghanistan. If Trump can get us out of Ukraine in 2, I'll take it. Adam says, hey, Larry, it's strange to me. People get riled over American soldiers dying in war and blaming politicians as if those soldiers didn't sign up knowing the risk of death or harm. Your thoughts? Yes and no. And again, me being a Marine, the vast majority of people who sign up to join do it for one of 2 reasons. Vast majority. There's some exceptions, obviously. The vast majority. 1, They think I'm serving my country. And it's a good thing to do. It's the honorable thing to do. I'm serving my country. And if we fight a war, it's because the country thinks we need to fight a war. We're protecting our freedom. That's true. Others go, it's my best way for my future. It's for me to either learn a trade or for me to get money for college. One of those things. It's the right way for my future. They think that. They aren't thinking, I can't wait to die. Do they know it's a risk? Of course they do. Yes. But for so many people, I use it for myself, Adam. The Marine Corps saved my life. Could I have died? Yes. Would I have, and to be very forward with you, would I have surrendered my life if some officer ordered me to charge a machine gun? Yes, I would have. Would I have ordered someone to their death? Yes, I would have. I would have done it. And I look at myself now. I'm not that way now at all. But would I have done it when I was 19, 20, 21? Yes, I would have done it. Does that mean I deserve to die? The way the question is posed there, it sounds like, why are you angry? They deserve it. I'm not saying you said that. I'm saying that's the way it comes across. And I'm trying to say, just because someone made a mistake or did something they thought was right or wrong or wasn't wrong, or they thought was honorable when it may not have been, doesn't mean they deserve to die. I say that even with the people who did the dumb things in other states we saw, doesn't mean they deserve to die. So, and the worst part is many of them, and this will sound harsh when I say it, but veterans will get this. It isn't the guys who die. And this is going to sound weird, but it isn't them. Their journey is over. It's those who don't die. Those who have the physical and mental wounds that last decades. That's even worse. And the family members who deal with those who've died and those who come home torn apart. The guy who died, his journey is over. I'm not trying to be cruel. When I was in the Marine Corps, and if you're a veteran and you've been through this, you know the concept was we all hoped the same thing. We all did. And some of you know what I'm going to say. We all hope the same thing. Sniper bullet. Yes, that's true. Well, like, I hope if I go, it's a sniper. Why? For those who don't know, the bullet travels faster than the speed of sound. So you won't even hear it. You just be walking, lights go out. Best way to go. Sniper bullet. So we talk about it, right? If I get it, I hope it's a sniper. Just done. Through the head, done. Lights go out. Don't feel a thing. Get my body home. So, yeah. I know it's kind of cruel, but it's how you think. For those who have been in that world, you wind up having dark humor because it's the way you get around it. You deal with dark humor. So things become very dark. You often become very... I tell this story often. I never went to combat. I'm not a combat Marine. But when we thought we were going in, it did not happen, but there were rumors we were going to. Did not happen. When that was happening, we were... I was having my troops put an extra dog tag in their boot. I was platoon sergeant. I was having them put dog tags in their boots. And the concept was you thought we were going to get blown up. When you get blown up, you might lose your arms, legs, your head, and your dog tags will fly off. But if you have one around your neck and then one in your boot, the odds are they'll find the boot at least and will know who you are to send a piece home to your mom. I know it sounds horrible, but that's how we think. We had some forward observers when I was in artillery and tied to the infantry. This is back in the 80s and 90s, so we were still thinking like the Russians were going to blow us up in the Soviet Union and such. And the life expectancy of a forward observer was like, 10 minutes or something, whatever it was, some crazy number. They would get their dog tags tattooed on the side of their body and the torso. They would tattoo it right here because they figured when a bomb hits and blows their legs and arms off, someone's got to go home to mom. So you would think about that. So no, they don't deserve it. That makes any sense. So yes. Mike says, I served 21 years knowing that death was a possibility, but I wanted to be for an honorable cause. True. Me too. I agree 100%. Yes. I served for 7, not 21. Mike's got me beat. So yes. All righty. Let me grab some more of these if I can. Okay. Let's see. Lindsay says, I'm a terrible human being. I do not think that's true. So, yeah. Joseph says, 29 states have constitutional carry, Larry. Let's make it 30. I'm in. Yes. Yep, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. So he says, I don't know any law enforcement who's against 2A. I do. So, yes. Lunatic says, I've always advocated for the citizens to use the office of sheriff to take back our country by deputizing the populace and serve the Constitution. You have, Lunatic, this is something that people don't get. I'm so glad you get this. Yes, people don't recognize something. Sheriff is a law enforcement officer who is elected. Most aren't. Most have to be hired and selected. They're elected. They have extra power. You are correct. They can enforce things or not enforce things. And the only person who can stop them is the population. Yes, and they can deputize. Yes, you are correct. Most people don't know that. You are right. I'm glad you said something. I agree completely. Yes. All right. Ryan says, Larry, I got family, friends, and numerous acquaintances who I don't agree with and try to see their point of view. It's frustrating sometimes. It is. You're right. So most people don't do it. It is. Particularly when you have people who are so self-righteous that they don't even want you to talk. They just want to talk over you to be right. That's the hardest part. That is the hardest part. Yes. That part is so challenging when they just won't just keep talking. Yes. John says, we blame politicians because the Marines don't make the conscious decision to go to war themselves. The orders come from D.C., which means they are the ones who give the lives, gamble our lives or bravest. Yes. Correct. Grace says, my husband says the Marine Corps was the coolest thing he ever did. Marines are different. Grunts are different. Hard to explain if you don't know culture. Agreed. I'm very proud of the Marine. Very proud. I still am. I still got Marine Corps stuff right here. Right? When you see me out, I'm almost always wearing my Navy Achievement Medal. I'm proud of it all the time. Yes. I'm not mad about that at all. 100%. Yes. So, all righty. Let me grab some more of these. Let me try to grab some of these if I can. All right. Ryan says, Larry, dark humor was how a lot of us in Iraq in 2020, in 2005, 2006 got by. I know. Yes. Some of the songs we would sing when we were running the running songs. Oh my God, I can't tell you what they were. They were terrible. They were horrible. If you guys that the songs you sing while you're running, I mean, it's about just terrible stuff. Yes, absolutely. Terrible stuff. So, all righty. Let's see if I can grab this. Let's see here. Grab that piece already. Gracie says, oh no, New York conservatives, you have the next Ron Paul in your own house and you aren't electing him. Yeah. Yep. Brian says, the sheriff, in theory at least, is the last line of defense against all state and federal encroachments. True. A lot of them don't get that. I wish more would, but yes, absolutely. Pepperoni asks, he's over on Rumble, he says, who represents the triangle flag behind you? That is my father's. My father was also a veteran. When my father passed, they gave him this flag at his funeral. And he was a veteran and also in law enforcement in New York City. They gave him the flag. They gave the flag to my mom. My mom passed. I got it. So actually gave it to me before she passed. She was sick. She was ill. My mom was dying of cancer. She gave me the flag then. So that's my father's flag behind me. So my father's flag, this represents my heritage of my mom and my dad. My dad, of course, was a veteran American, and my mom was born in Germany. So it's German flag underneath that. So yes, but when my mom was born, it was West Germany. So yes, it was West Germany. Now it's one Germany, but it was when she was born, it was still split. So yeah, hope that makes sense. So, all righty. Let me grab some more of these if I can. Okay, we did this one already. That's good. All right. Bronna says the sheriff in Fairfax County runs the county jail. His/her deputies control the inmates and serve warrants. Oh, there we go. So yeah. Look, depends on where you are. In certain areas, sheriffs do a lot of work. In certain areas, they don't. New York City, we have a 35,000 person police force. Sheriffs in New York City don't do that much when it comes to law enforcement. It's very rare. Certain parts upstate, the sheriffs are law enforcement. They do almost everything. It all depends upon where you are, at that point. It all depends upon, that kind of stuff. So yes. So Bronna goes on to say, I've been anti-war for as long as I can remember, which is why I'm an anarchist. War does not exist absent government. Fights, squabbles, battles, yes, but not war. Yeah, I think that's accurate. But here we are, right? That's the issue. Here we are. How do we handle it knowing where we are, right? That's always been my point. I'm trying to be as practical as I can. That is my issue. I'm trying to be. That's not always possible, but I try. So, yeah. I hope so. Grace says, Larry, given how useless the LP is in general and the GOP is in New York, the most obvious choice in New York is you. I really hope New York Republicans wake up and see how pro 2A and small government you are. I do too. I do too. Yes. If we can, guys, please, I've been asking you, please do it if you can. Take some time. If you live in New York State and either you are a registered Republican or you know some, get those signatures. It does matter. Signatures matter. Petitions matter. Please do so. Every little bit counts. Yes, it matters tremendously. If you can't do that, then do me a favor. Let people who you know in New York know that. Please do that. And also something else, please make sure that you are sharing all the stuff you possibly can, right? Doing the liking, the commenting, all those things. It does matter. Absolutely. Ryan says, Larry, same in Missouri. The GOP activists are braver and what act. Yeah, you mean actual change. Of course. Yes. 100%. Absolutely. Yes. So, Adam says, Nate, who need the contact in Rochester? Okay. Yeah, you can just ask Nate. He will help you out. That's even better. Even better. Yes, even better. Robert says, for those people saying gas prices went up and then came back down, can you please tell California because his gas price shut up overnight, literally, and say that? Oh, no. I should be clear on this one. That's on the market, not for us, Robert. We're screwed. That's for the market, which is what that bothers me, right? Means that speculators will make a ton of money. Speculators will, not us. Me and you, we screwed. So, yes, that's the issue. 100%. All righty. Shelly says, just found my Republican Chamber of Commerce calling in the morning. Yes. Ken says, anger is a great motivator, but a cloud judgment. It can. Yes, it can. Lunatic says, fear is the mind killer. Frank Herbert's doing. Yes, which is why when you're afraid, it should trigger thought. You can control your fear, right? When you get angry, it should, trigger thought so you can control your anger. And of course, if you need to focus it. So, yes. So, Ryan says, also, you need to hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise. Yeah. It's true. Yes. Ryan says, let the hate flow through you. There we go. Massive hour. Fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger to hate. Hate leads to suffering. See that? But here's an issue. There are people who can love you and you can suffer. The Buddhists would say possession leads to suffering. So I'm not sure. Maybe. But then again, without suffering, are you human? Isn't suffering human? Surviving through it? Dealing with it? I think yes. So, yes. Chad says, you, of course, have petitions at your events. I do, which is how I got a bunch of signatures. I got about 20 signatures, I think, at my event yesterday or so. So, yes. And I will have a bunch this weekend. I'll be doing 4 or 5 events this weekend. I'll be in Rochester, by the way, this weekend. I will be in Rochester. I'm pretty sure I'll be in Rochester this weekend. I'll be in Chautauqua. I'll be in Sharpe County. I'll be in Rochester. I think I'll be in maybe Orange County. Not Orange County, which is Orange County. Ulster County, I think. So I got a bunch. We'll get it out here coming up soon. If you can show up here, that's always a great time to show up and say hi. Absolutely. It's always good if you can. Yes. GOP Larry says, Larry, I hope more people hear your personal story. It's compelling. Thank you. I am trying to get more and more going on. Yes. 622 says, sheriffs in New York City only hang eviction notices. True, they don't do much law enforcement. It's true. In New York City, they don't. You got 35,000. You have 35,000 cops. Not required. So, yeah, I think that's true. You don't do much of it at all. So, yeah. Guys, I want to ask you one more time if I could. I know I ask you often. I'm going to ask you one more time. Remember, this is a fundraiser. If you can donate, please donate. It does matter if you can do so. If you have already donated, no worries. You can always, instead, if you want to, you can always volunteer. Every volunteering is important. It matters tremendously. Hold on. Let me find that. Yes, volunteering also matters. You can head over and volunteer if you want to. But for this, hit the like button. The like button also matters. If you can hit it, please do so. But more important than anything right now, this week, more important than anything, is petitioning. As I said, we are behind on petitioning. We had to start slow for many different reasons. So we are behind. We need to get about 7,000 of them done probably by Monday. If we do that, we'll be back on track. So we are behind. Last time I checked yesterday, we were under 1,000. So we are behind. and just out there rocking and rolling, getting thousands so we can make this happen and rock and roll again, head over to librarysharpe.com and just go down. You'll see it right there. Download signatures, signature form, download instructions, download scripts. Right there. Those three, go ahead. Now, I know it says you have to do it on not a legal size paper. That's the law. Do what you got to do. That's all I'm going to say. That's the law. Get signatures. Get signatures. That's what matters. That's the most important thing. Get signatures. There's the instructions. There's the scripts. Please jump on them if you can. It does matter. The sooner the better. If it's just you and your spouse and you do it, here's one rule to remember. You can't witness your own signature. So put one signature, have your spouse witness. Your spouse puts that signature. You witness that. Good to go. Mail it in. Where do I mail it? Well, you can either use the mail if you want to or drop it off. I'm going to give you more places. We're working on that too. As I said, we're a little bit slower. Keep them for a while. We got 4 weeks. We'll get them off or drop them off. If you're in Central New York, Nate will take care of you. He will find a spot for you to do it. It's all good. But if you just want to mail it, you can if you want to. There's an address right here on the donate where you mail your check. You can mail it right here to this place here. 23rd Avenue Suite, 26A. Right there. Mail it right there. We'll pick it up. All good. That's the place to go. It does matter. For now, if you can donate, please do so. As always, I know I ask you all the time. Yes, please. Superweapon says these signatures can only be from New York residents, correct? In this specific case, Superweapons, it may only be from New York State registered Republicans. In this case, registered Republicans, not just residents. Signatures must be from New York State registered Republicans in this case. There'll be a second round of signatures we're going to gather in April. That group of signatures we're going to gather can be from any New York State registered voter. Does not matter. Does not matter. That's all. That's how that works. So yes, it's a little bit of a difference. I hope that makes sense. So yeah, whatever you can do, please help out. Every single bit does matter. It really does matter tremendously. We're going to make that happen. So Kajans asks, Larry, do you travel the state in the billboard truck? We will be getting that when the cash comes in. Right now, all of our money and energy is going into only one thing, which is, of course, petitioning. This is how they beat you, by the way. For those who don't know, only I have to do this. Hochul and Blakeman are just on the ballot. Why? Because Republicans, Democrats, they're selected. They're just on. That's it. Only I have to go through this. They don't. Yes. So I have to spend time, money, and energy, even though I'm already at a disadvantage. Because it's fair. It's not at all. So here's what I'm going to ask you guys, if you don't mind, as I asked you already to click the like button, but please, if you haven't reposted this, please repost this someplace so other people can see it. And after this is over, please leave a comment. And I'm going to ask you to comment on how much do gas prices matter to you? Are you someone who it matters tremendously? Are you using gas all the time? Do you drive all the time? Do you not have a car? Do you live in a city where you just take this bus? How important do gas prices matter to you on a daily basis? But in the second piece, compared to other issues, is something you vote on. How important are gas prices to you? Guys, please take care of that. I'm not sure if I'll be doing a show tomorrow, but I will be doing one again coming up this week, either Wednesday or Thursday. I will. Maybe tomorrow. I'll let you know as soon as I know. I will see you all very soon.